Welcome to Podcasting Smarter, the podcast for podcasters by podcasters. Podcasting Smarter is the official podcast from Podbean, featuring podcasting interviews, best practices, and helpful tips. We're here to give you the tools, resources, product updates, and news to help you get started podcasting and keep your podcast growing.
Welcome back, everyone, to Podcasting Smarter. I'm Norma Jean Belenky, and today we are zeroing in on how to grow and market your podcast. We'll unlock the power of Podbean's resources to boost your podcast's visibility. Stick around as we uncover the top strategy for increasing listener engagement, a game changer for any podcaster looking to expand their reach. An episode of Growth Hacks awaits you. Stay tuned, and here we go. Hi, John. How's it going?
It's going good. We are in the process of recording some brand new material for our podcast community. If you've seen some of our other resources, you may have heard me say that again, but it's going to be all about Podbean Academy. And I'm very excited for y'all to check out the content we have coming. But we're here talking about growing your podcast, something that I think we can all say podcasters love to talk about and something that podcasters want to know more about.
Absolutely. And talking about Podbean Academy, it's really a library of resources that we have. Videos, articles, so much there to really help podcasters expand the reach of their podcast, grow their podcast, launch their podcast, monetize their podcast, so much there. So first off, what are the most effective strategies for growing a podcast audience that we talk about at Podbean Academy?
Sure. So the first thing I just want to bring up is when you're thinking about growing your show, there's two parts of it. One, which we all think about, which is getting your podcast in front of eyes and ears, marketing. The second thing that often gets overlooked is retention. So remember, the two sides of marketing are about how are you getting in front of your audience and how are you keeping them. So talking about how you get in front of an audience, something as simple as doing some research on your title and description for your podcast or your podcast SEO. It becomes visible even more for the niche that you are targeting within the different directories. First and foremost, doing any sorts of research for those two pieces is critical in getting your podcast in front of more eyes and ears. And in Podbean Academy, we give you a variety of resources and some case studies on how some podcasters have gone about doing that. The one I've always brought up with our conversation with Real English Conversations, how they were able to do a lot of competitor research and how they were able to grow their podcast. And by way of that, get more eyes onto their product that they sell for their business. So there's a lot of different resources there for that. Second thing, also, look into cross-promotional opportunities. You've got your show. You've got this product that probably aligns fairly nicely with other podcasts within your niche. So what can you do? Get an ad, talk to another podcaster and say, hey, I'd love to run ads from my show on your show and vice versa. Or I'd love for you to come guest host my show and reciprocate. And all these different ways that you can cross-promote. We give you some different tips and strategies within Podbean Academy in order to do that. So there's so many different ways to help grow your show. There's so many different ways to help bring listeners back year to year, month to month, and week to week. So all those different things you can find in Podbean Academy.
Absolutely. And how can podcasters use the resources that we have here at Podbean to create compelling marketing content?
Yeah, definitely. So when it comes to marketing and it comes to your show, a lot of it is doing the research. A lot of it is doing the work, right? For sure. But a lot of it also is using the analytics that you have and that time of day heat map, which I will not stop talking about because it is such an amazing tool. Using these kinds of analytics, not to say is my podcast successful or not, but to use these analytics to help you understand your audience behavior. There are ways that you can go and say, oh, this content is working. If I've released 5 episodes and these 5 episodes are shorter than the previous episodes I've released, and I'm seeing I'm getting more traffic on that, maybe it means that on top of the SEO optimization you've done, you found the secret sauce for your specific show in terms of how long the episode length can be. So for you, it's a matter of then saying, do I want to go ahead and continue to create longer form content or maybe shorter form content that matches the audience? And I'm using shorter versus longer content as just a piece, but it could be anything. If you're looking at your tools and you're saying that these episodes work better, what worked better on them? We give you some tips and tricks and some strategies and tools that you can use to say, hey, this is the content that is working with my audience.
Absolutely. And last but not least, I want to share some innovative ways to engage with listeners and build a loyal community. So we've talked about this a little bit, but what would you say your top 3 tips are that we talk about at Podbean Academy?
Top 3 tips. I think social media and engagement on there is probably my first one. Because again, there's a lot of people that think that social media is, because everybody's on it, it's ineffective. But here's the thing. No matter what you do, you want to be building a community around your podcast. So using something like social media to help your engagement and help foster conversations with people in the industry and with people in your niche and fans and get them talking about your show is crucial towards growing an audience, right? That's one thing. Another thing I would say, obviously, with the SEO optimization is massively important. And when I say these things are underappreciated or under-leveraged or underutilized, it's because the secret sauce to the podcasting industry and growing your show is really making sure that all these pieces are optimized and making sure you're engaging with your audience. The other piece that I would say probably third, that cross-promotion. I brought a couple of these things up earlier in this conversation, but really becoming a name and a voice within your industry and being able to say, hey, I'm willing to put my content on your platform if you're willing to, vice versa. These are things that help bring you as a voice in the community. So engaging on social media, using the cross promotion, and making sure that all of your content is optimized in the search engines are massively important. Those would be my big 3 takeaways for podcasting success and growth.
Absolutely. Well, John Kiernan, thanks so much for joining us. And we'll have the link here for the Podbean Academy free resources on growing your podcast.
You got it.
Awesome. Thanks, John.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Podcasting Smarter. If you have any podcasting questions or want to get in touch, send us an email at podcastingsmarter@podbean.com. Thanks so much and happy podcasting.